Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on the area you're in and what you're enjoying today. Sue Easton has asked me to say a few words to you today regarding leadership and education and change. My name's Joe Atherton. I was an educator for 42 years, of which 27 of those years I spent as a school principal, both in Canada here in the public education system and overseas. I was the principal at the American School of Bombay, the American International School of Budapest, and the American International School in Brasilia. So, in speaking about change, I've experienced a lot. More attempts than successes, unfortunately, in education. However, I do have some opinions on what works and what doesn't work. And I'm just going to share those with you. Sue asked for three important things. I think there are more, and I'm going to discuss four of them because I think the fourth is important. The first thing that I think that is necessary in order to make change is for the leadership to have a clear vision of what that change is. Not just knowing what it looks like, but knowing its impact. And its impact on students. Because if you're in education and your change is not focused on the needs of students, it will be unsuccessful, from my opinion. Also, the change that you make has to be viable. In other words, you got to be able to do it. You have to know that you have the means, the financial means, or the human resources necessary to make that change viable. I also think that you have to think about the sustainability of that change. Is that change going to be something that is going to be adopted by the people after you leave? If you look back over your shoulder as a school principal or as a school leader, and if what you did when you were there is still there, then it was a good vision and a sustainable change. The other thing about vision is you have to be able to articulate it. You've got to be able to say clearly what your vision is, what your outcomes are going to be. And others that are in the organization with you have to agree that those are viable changes. Not everybody, mind you, but at least some. The second most important thing, I think, after vision that you need to have is you need to have courage. And here I flip back to the resistance to change is often fear. And as a leader, you are going to confront that fear if you are going to make sustainable, viable changes. The courage you need to have is that you as a leader need to take on that responsibility. It's yours. You own it. You can't make change or attempt to make change and then blame others because things aren't the way you want them. So you've got to take that. And when you face this fear that's anchored there, you need to be able to confront it. The third thing I think you need for successful change is fertile soil. I say that because as a school leader and change agent, you don't want to go into a thing that's already been done. You want to go into something that is just ready to bloom. It's got the human resources that are necessary that want to change. They've got early adopters, and over the past, the resistors have to be moved out. A strong organization does not have many resistors because, frankly, spending your time on resistors does not move you forward. So through the recruiting process and in international schools, you can soon rid the school of resistors. And once the resistors are gone and the field is fertile, you can go back and you can make changes. Those changes are built on relationships. When you're looking for fertile soil, as a leader, you need to build a relationship with those people that are going to be impacted by the changes that you're going to make. Those include not just building relationships with people in the organization, like teachers. It's also building relationships with students because they're going to be impacted by the change. And you need to be building relationships with the community because the community's opinion of what you're doing is going to be important because you know that pressure can come from that sector. So it's important that through however means you can, that you get the support of your community for the changes you want to make. I remember a change I made in Brazil where we eliminated homework for elementary school. The first step was to have parents in and have parents become supporter of the concept by understanding that what the research said about home learning and then following through with it. But it was the parents that made that happen. And when you get parents on board and you get enough teachers on board saying that this is a good thing for kids, then it happens. Now, I don't know now in Brasilia whether they have homework or not, but they didn't have it when I was there, and it was supported by parents. I just heard from a parent just last week on Facebook wanting me to come back and take care of the issues that they were having there. So that kind of relationship was strong. The fourth thing, after vision, courage, and building fertile soil, the fourth thing is transparency, and transparency with the plan that you have. So the first thing I think you need to do is you need to assess the current situation. Get a starting point. Do a survey. Collect some data. Have a starting point for where you're going, and then be transparent about how you plan on getting where you're going. Having checkpoints along the way where you do assessments, and have a final assessment so that then you can say, yes, this in fact change did work, did achieve what I wanted it to achieve with my students. And once you have that piece of data, then the change becomes easy because everybody is going to buy into the change that made the difference. And they will eventually adopt that as the way we do business. That's when change is successful, when it becomes sustainable because it's the way we do business. So that's always the goal. And as an educator, I have been fortunate enough to reach some of my goals. And to be honest with you, many of them we didn't reach. And it could be my lack of vision. Maybe I picked the wrong thing. Maybe I didn't have the soil tilled well enough and have fertile soil. And I had too many people that were not on board for our journey, and it fails. And that does happen. But when it's successful, it's wonderful. That's the goal. So I could answer questions, but we're virtual. So maybe Sue will give you my email, and then if you have any questions that I can help you with, I would be happy to. But happy days, and I envy you tremendously for what you have in front of you, because it's behind me, unfortunately. Have a great day. Bye-bye.